Being adjacent to that much beauty, more than adjacent, immersed in it, pierced by it, was the point. The physical risks were footnotes.
Holy shit, ain't that?
Look at that. Woo!
Footnotes hastily shelved. After stumbling across a shifty reef break at the end of the world, I donned my wetsuit like some kind of idiot and paddled out. The first sentence of this video was a Barbarian Days quote, and it sums up my attitude these days to surfing. I'm not much of a surfer anymore. I haven't landed in air since 2015. My cutbacks look like a traveller's health warning. And although my re-entries may make me feel like Dane Reynolds, each of them actually confirms my greatest fear. That I surf like a giant kook with tight hips and a hunchback. Even more worryingly, I just went to the Mentawais for 11 nights and didn't make it out of one barrel. Point is, I know I'm not exactly shredding it up, but I still like to be out there, even just to feel the intensity. But before I get into how I got massively humbled by the Southern Ocean, how did I get here?
Oh, let's go.
A video of you doing a full flip with the egg. Alright.
You're gonna lose the
You
egg,
ready?
but anyways.
You got the video going?
Yeah.
Even you got airborne. Oh, nice. Well, I got airborne. It looked just funny, you like went for a jump.
I forgot this was the point. This phrase has been doing the rounds on social media lately, and it kinda sums up how I felt after this trip to Tasmania. It began when our friends Marta and Taz told us they were taking the ferry over in their van during a year-long trip around Australia. I convinced my work to let me rent a van in exchange for writing a story about it, and off we went. Partner, who's also called Marta. They called in a mate called Matt, and we headed down to the South Arm below Hobart. Here we enjoyed a few days of hilarious fried egg flipping, rooftop van drinking, horse spotting, and a hilarious night where Matt, Taz and James drank so much they went off on an adventure for a golf course. We also surfed a few windswept waves and had a great time doing it, but really, this wasn't what we came for. After a year of hunching over a desk drinking Nescafe Blend 43, eating canned chicken burgers and tapping away at a keyboard, I was ready for an adventure. Part 2. Concocting a plan. After checking the weather forecast, eating our body weight in avocado on toast, and reading a few books, we finally settled on a plan.
Look at this beauty.
Full camping mode.
And test.
Look at
Like
this stuff.
the Mario stuff.
When we were going
Power
to,
surf
at the
trip.
start of the trip, I was calling it East Coast Coffee Company.
It's coffee company.
Our burning desire was to surf a fabled wave I'd only ever heard about on obscure real surf forums from like 2006, and everything else, like having the right size hiking packs for everyone or water purification tablets, was of secondary concern. After a long drive down a long bumpy road and spending a long time packing and repacking, putting all our stuff all over the floor, and a long nervous night looking at the forecast, we were finally ready to set off. Part 4. You got a rock in your pack. After one more chin wag and one final gear check, we finally got going, beginning the 2-hour walk to our destination. This involves strolling over boardwalks as well as up and down muddy embankments, all aided by the pet rock in my backpack.
Why, it feels scary?
Learnings from this part of the trip include never leaving your friends alone with your bag for more than 2 seconds, never bringing a surfboard on a hike without at least a light case, and never ever ever trying to hike with a freeboard coffin. Yes, even though I foolishly ended up with rocks in my pack, I had the perfect board case. Anyway, after a while of admiring the prehistoric looking jungle and the soles of each other's feet, we finally stumbled across some waves. And not just any waves, big meaty Southern Ocean waves. Even though this video probably doesn't do it justice, the lines were pouring through and it was picking up, getting bigger by the second. Or so it felt anyway, even though it was supposed to be dropping off. Despite the driving rain, I couldn't look at this kind of thing and not paddle out. So I made everyone wait for me while I got my fix.
So James couldn't wait for the rest of the team.
Which brings us right back to where we started at the beginning of this whole video.
Holy shit, ain't that?
Look at that. Woo!
It wasn't particularly big, steep, or shallow, but the sheer fact I'd never been there before, I didn't know where to rock off, and I didn't know what was underneath the surface, really gave me pause for thought. Well, pause of all of about 2 seconds at least. As I said, I jumped in like an idiot, and somehow it all ended up okay, despite getting smashed for about 20 minutes before making it out the back. After attempting to sneak out the left-hand side, where I thought there was a rip, and getting brutally rejected by a number of sets, I then tried to sneak out the right-hand side, and yet again got brutally rejected by quite a few sets. Somewhere around this point, just as my arms started to feel about as weak as a mid-strength latte, the ocean took pity on me. The sets paused just long enough for me to, well, I don't want to say paddle out, but gingerly float might be closer to the truth. I then got a triple overhead barrel and tore up those walls like I was Julian Wilson in a pair of pink board shorts at Macaroni's. Jokes, that's actually not me. I did get 2 waves, but they weren't captured on film because my friends got bored of filming me, and that's pretty fair enough. I took forever to get those waves, and they weren't even that good. After wave number 2, though I'd finally actually got comfortable sitting out there, I decided not to test my friend's patience any longer and headed in. We then surfed some fun waves further down the beach together and went up to find our campsite. The campsite was a sick little spot hidden in some bushes behind the beach, right next to a pristine little creek and a disgusting drop toilet, which we thought maybe went into the creek, but we weren't quite sure. Anyway, we didn't want to risk it, so we didn't drink the water just to be safe. Over the next day or so, the waves got smaller and the conditions got cleaner, and we had a whole heap of fun surfing our own private little wave pool. They were also spent a fair bit of time walking around in my tracksuit pants, looking vaguely gormless, in an attempt to warm up after surfing in my undies because I didn't want to get my wetsuit wet, as it would be quite heavy to hike back out with. We then hiked back out and enjoyed what must be one of the most appreciated pizzas anyone's ever eaten, ever. The only downside was that I managed to burn the crust to smithereens.
Shit, the face is fully burnt.
We ate the pizza with the sunset and then started thinking about our next adventure. We also enjoyed a fair bit of plate gazing too. The next day we had breakfast overlooking the water and then headed off over towards the Free Capes.